So as always, starting us off at number 10, we got Trisha Paytas. Now there's no real surprise here, as Paytas actually used to be quite less dramatic and more so focused on just making good content. If you go to her page and check out some of her older videos, you'll find vlogs, monologues, as well as some of her own original content. Then she started doing mukbang and got quite a large following, and now it seems she's doing a mix of mukbang and random dramatic videos. Sometimes she even crosses the line and makes videos pertaining to certain things that shouldn't be joked about or mocked the way she seemed to. Unfortunately, it seems her following has led to her focusing on continuing to grow and get more numbers, or in this case, subscribers. Knowing the videos of her crying with absurd titles gets her views, Trisha tends to focus on that rather than what her original fans really subscribed for. Aside from that, as previously mentioned, she just seems to have no regard when it comes to the damage her content can do not only to her brand, but people in general. Up next at number 9, Logan Paul. I don't think anyone's surprised here either. I mean, we all know what happened with his vlog incident, and it seemed he was one of the many on this list that got blinded by the idea of getting more views and a bigger following. Unfortunately, it took him filming a corpse for the entire world to shun him, which then made him realize he took things way too far. Of course, before that happened, Paul had come under fire for some of his other actions in previous videos. But this one didn't just cross the line, it just fully sprinted. It just went right across there. Thankfully, it seems since coming back, Paul has changed and matured for the better, and it doesn't seem he's creating content that involves the public, at least the way he used to. Number 8, we got T. Martin. The YouTuber who got popular filming himself dominating in games, mostly the Call of Duty franchise, found himself in a lot of legal trouble after starting an online gaming website. Now, we're not talking your traditional blackjack and craps gambling. Instead, it was a site where you could gamble your skins from the game Counter-Strike, which was actually quite normal. There were a handful of sites doing it, but the company that owns the game came into some legal trouble as well when it was revealed minors were likely using the gambling sites. Although third parties, Valve, who owns Counter-Strike, did what they had to do and set the record straight by cutting ties with all the third-party sites. T. Martin, along with Syndicate Project, another gaming YouTuber, both promoted a site called CSGO Lotto and made a video where they won big gambling skins. It turns out they both own the website, something they didn't disclose in their videos. When it was revealed that this was the case, both men apologized, but T. Martin took his video down after getting backlash, most likely for saying, I quote, "Obviously on my end, me playing on Lotto rather than other sites gives me an advantage because it promotes my own site, but it is not immoral. There is nothing wrong with it. I am 100% honest," end quote. Then the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, got involved, but in the end, neither men had to pay an immediate fine as a settlement was reached. Either way, safe to say the idea of being unstoppable got to this dude. And now, I think he's back to normal, which is pretty cool. At number 7, Vitaly ZDTV. Now, Vitaly has always been a prankster known for going over the top and being incredibly outrageous. Starting off with the outrageous pickup lines on girls at the beach and eventually getting to the point that he was being arrested overseas. We've seen Vitaly streak at major sporting events and quite recently spent a few nights in an Egyptian jail for scaling a pyramid. In a 3-minute video posted to Instagram, Vitaly shows himself getting to the top of the pyramid and spreading the message to stop the war and help raise money for Australia, who was dealing with wildfires at the time. He captioned the video, I quote, "I did this for a good cause and it just put me 5 nights in Egyptian jail. Even though I've been in jail around the world many times for my previous stunts, this one has been the most horrible experience of my life. Let's unite and donate for Australia. I hope the world will hear me," end quote. Turns out scaling a pyramid without a license is illegal, and many of his fans were actually quick to ask why he didn't just donate his money instead of climbing a pyramid. It seems to this day Vitaly is still chasing the next big thing to continue growing. Rather than focusing on the problem, he just, wants to make the news. Number 6, Lars. Now, I'll be honest here, guys. I'm not too sure what this guy does. I know quite recently he posted a TikTok of himself licking a toilet seat, which was apparently called the Coronavirus Challenge. And it looks like he failed because he did test positive for the virus a few days later. Lars has been known to clout chase, I guess we could say, for a while now. He appeared on Dr. Phil and said he doesn't speak to his family because they're irrelevant. They don't have followers or money. If that isn't fame going to your head, I don't know what is. Now, the issue here is I don't really know how famous Lars was at this point, or how famous he is now, really. He does have hundreds of thousands of views on his YouTube channel, and now with the whole TikTok thing going viral, I mean, it's safe to say it won't be the last we hear of this guy, but I guess keep chasing the bag and doing your thing. I mean, you should know better, but whatever. Halfway at number 5, we got James Charles. Well, if you don't know all the drama regarding James Charles, I'm not going to get too much into it, but in a short summary, he was accused of pretty much using his fame and money to manipulate people, and when the direct competition of James's mentor approached him for a sponsorship, he did it. Obviously, this led to the drama, but the fact that James thought it was okay in the first place, aside from the other accusations, goes to show he wasn't thinking right and got way too caught up in the idea of the fame and fortune of being a YouTube celebrity. On to number 4, Gabby Hanna. Now, Gabby has been in her fair share of controversy since transitioning over to YouTube from Vine. In 2017, her and Rice Gum had a feud, and more recently, Trisha Paytas and Gabby got into it. And then there was a huge blow up between Gabby and her old friend and collaborator, Jesse Smiles. I'm not getting into the drama because it doesn't matter all that much in regards to this video. However, in a nutshell, it involved some serious allegations and eventually led to some of the girls' fans being involved in the drama. Although Gabby claims she DM'd some of the girls to clarify the situation, it does seem a little strange that she would be speaking to and possibly manipulating impressionable fans. Now, I'm not trying to accuse her of anything, I want to make that clear. It just seems strange to me that a woman in her 20s would feel obligated to explain a very serious accusation to a 15-year-old in her DMs, rather than focus on the problem, in this case, accusations made by Jesse, head on and deal with it as a normal adult would. But as I always say, guys, there's 3 sides to every story, his, hers, and the truth. So who knows what really happened? In this case, obviously, we have Gabby's, we have Jesse's, and then the truth. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm staying out of this one. Moving on to number 3, Austin McBroom. Now, it seems like the Ace family have it all. The adorable children, the youthful rich parents, and of course, the flashy cars and mansion. I mean, to some that doesn't mean anything, but to many, that's the dream. Either way, when you reach a certain level of success, whether it be fame or making a ton of money, you seem to think differently, or so it appears. Almost as if you're untouchable. But as we all know, that's never the case, and Austin McBroom learned that the hard way when he shared a video of a very young girl, we're talking maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6, I don't know, saying she was going to steal a lollipop if he didn't buy it for her. McBroom thought it was funny, so he filmed it and eventually bought it for her, laughing due to the shape of the lollipop. Although many think they were in an adult store, it seems they were inside the novelty store Spencer's, which is known to sell adult products, such as lollipops shaped as body parts. Now, anyone in their right mind wouldn't allow a child into that store in the first place, let alone allow them to have that kind of lollipop. And Austin learned the hard way that he too can make mistakes, regardless of how big his following is. Speaking of untouchable, let's move on to number 2, Jake Paul. I mean, Logan was definitely bad. Many think Jake was, and still is, worse. I mean, there's so much this guy has done over the years, from starting Team 10 and apparently having a fake relationship with Alyssa Violet, and of course, the marriage to Tana. I mean, the list goes on and on. This guy just does whatever he has to do to keep people talking about him. And although it's a good way to make money, just doing outrageous stuff regardless of how it may affect others is really ignorant. In the past, Jake's neighbors have filed complaints for various reasons, from noise complaints to fear of their own safety, and much like his brother, it seems as the years have gone on, he's somewhat matured. To this day, he may not be a fan favorite, but at least he outgrew that old reckless stage. Now, in at number 1, to the surprise of many, Justin Bieber. A lot of people tend to forget Justin Bieber started out on YouTube before becoming one of the biggest names in the music industry, selling out arenas on worldwide tours. But like many who get famous from a young age and need to grow up in the spotlight, Bieber definitely let the fame and fortune get to his head. There were so many scandals involving Justin over the years, but the one that always stands out to me the most is when he leaned over a balcony of screaming fans and started to spit on them. Way to be, buddy. Now, thankfully, like a handful of the others on this list, he's grown up and really completely changed as a person. Nowadays, he seems incredibly in touch with his religion and is happily married to Hailey Baldwin, so good for them. With number 10, the one and only Tana Mongeau. Well, Tana has always been known to create quite interesting content, and although she seems to be genuine in her content, what you see is what you get kind of thing, there was a point that she made some questionable decisions. I mean, she's made a handful, but I'm specifically referring to TanaCon. For those of you who don't know or simply don't remember, Tana tried to throw a YouTube-type convention to rival VidCon. After posting her rant video bashing VidCon and talking about how poorly she was treated, Tana decided to create TanaCon, a free event where fans can meet creators and more. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a disaster, with some comparing it to Firefest. Thousands were stuck outside getting burnt without food or water, waiting hours in hopes of just getting in. It's believed in total over 20,000 people showed up to an event Tana was expecting wouldn't exceed 5,000. The 2-day convention would get shut down early on in the first day, but Tana definitely learned from it. Really, anyone who tries to create a convention with their name in it clearly let the fame of YouTube go to their head and get the best of them. And to no surprise, we got another creator on here that did the exact same thing. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. Number 9, we got Cole Kerrigan. Now, I'm not sure if it was necessarily for clout, money, or just out of not liking Austin McBroom, but for some reason, Cole decided to post a video accusing Austin of incredibly serious allegations. Cole claimed to have proof in the form of photo evidence as well as text messages proving Austin McBroom had forced himself onto someone Cole knows. The news shook the YouTube community, but some questioned Cole's credibility, especially after he claimed that Drama Alert's Keemstar was paid off by the Ace family. Although there was a text message conversation between Keem and Cole where Keemstar said he was paid $500,000 to be quiet, Cole ran with the story, and after a few days, it would turn out that Cole had sent messages to the alleged victims, telling them that they could get paid off by the Ace family. Austin would speak simply by saying he has been a victim of slander and attempted extortion, and that the matter will be handled in court, which seems to have been the case. It's crazy to see the things people will do for money and fame, though. Now on to number 8, Jeffree Star. Well, this was definitely one of the names that came up a lot in the comment section of the first video, and I mean, for good reason. Jeffree has been in the game a long time. We're talking way back to the MySpace days. And he's had his controversies over racist videos, texts, and tweets, but he's also had a handful of public feuds. Kylie Jenner and of course Kat Von D are just a couple of the big names Jeffree has had history with in the past. There was also the whole feud between him and Laura Lee, Manny MUA, and Gabriel Zamora. It seems Jeffree has turned a new page though, much like a lot of the YouTubers on this list. I would say all of them, but truthfully some of them haven't changed at all, and others aren't even allowed to be on the platform anymore, which we'll also get to, but moving on. Number 7, Sam Pepper. Now Sam has a couple reasons to be on this list. Sometimes you cross the line and are too far down the rabbit hole to realize. Known as a prankster, Sam would upload various videos to his YouTube channel pranking the general public. But when Sam thought it would be funny to grab women inappropriately, well, they would show him directions to a nearby location. I think everyone had agreed he crossed the line. Following the backlash, multiple women came out accusing Pepper of different allegations. Then a year later, Sam would upload another prank video where he thought it would be funny to kidnap 2 friends and stage a murder, killing one of them and obviously pranking the other. As you can imagine, there was once again an outrage which led to Sam privating his videos and uploading an apology video in which he explained all the pranks were staged, denied all allegations against him, and decided to stop making prank videos, at least at the time, because it seems like he started again. Number 6, Zoella. First, there was her ghostwriting incident, where many of her fans felt they were misled after Zoella released her book Girl online. Although the book would be a New York Times bestseller and instant hit, making Zoella the record holder for the highest first week sales by a debut author, she also got a ton of hate. Now Zoella never said she wrote the book on her own, but many assumed that was the case, giving her a bad rap. Then there was her 2017 advent calendar, which was also a total disaster. Priced at £50, the calendar only came with 12 doors, and according to those who actually bought it, wasn't worth more than £20, if that. It included a pen, some confetti, a mini notepad, some stickers, and much more. But it's fair to say Zoella has been on the platform for a while, and although she's made questionable decisions, she's matured over the years and seems to be doing good things now. Getting success at a young age, like early 20s, can really be a blessing and a curse. I was gonna make a joke about it happening to me, but I'm blessed to have this. At 5, Joey Salads. Well, he's another prankster, and although the prank I'm going to be talking about didn't physically harm any individuals the way Sam did, I think what Joey did was just as bad. He tried to make an entire race appear to behave a certain way purely based on political beliefs. For those of you who don't know what video I'm referring to, it's still on Joey's channel and it's called Trump Car Destroyed in Black Neighborhood, Social Experiment, Fake Video. Now, there was a point that fake video wasn't in the title and Joey tried to pass this video off as legitimate. In the video, a car with pro-Trump stickers and flags is completely trashed by a group of African-American men. They smash the hood, break windows, and just completely destroy it. Joey ends the video in a nutshell claiming that the African-American community is violent toward Trump and his supporters. When it was exposed that the video was fake, Joey got a ton of backlash, removed the video, then re-uploaded it, claiming he's changed but didn't want to hide from his past. Clearly there was a lapse in judgment making this video, and well, he was just chasing the numbers. At 4, we got FouseyTube. I mean, Fousey has had his fair share of controversies over the years as well, taking frequent breaks from his YouTube channel with some genuinely concerned for the guy and others thinking he does it for views. It's tough to tell what's real and what's not. Unfortunately for Fousey, people quickly found out that his event, FouseyCon, was in fact the latter. After deciding to throw the event together in just a couple days' time, Fousey would start making wild claims that his event was going to be like no other, and that Drake would even be performing. The event didn't go as planned, with a threat forcing the venue to evacuate the thousands of guests who showed up for the free event. Fousey would then have what appeared to be a mental breakdown on top of a van, addressing the crowd of people. Over the course of the next few days, the truth would slowly come out, with the icing on the cake being that Drake didn't even know who FouseyTube was. Unfortunately, having a large following has its ups and downs, and in Fousey's case, at the time, the stress of constantly having to create content seemed to be too much for him. Hopefully now he's doing better, but I mean, you never really know. Now at number 3, we got Jay Station. Although Jay gets hate on a regular basis for his 3 AM style of videos, it was one specific video that really proved he let the fame go to his head. Well, there are a couple, but the one I'm currently referring to is the video where he claimed his girlfriend had died and that he was going to contact her spirit at 3 AM. I mean, it was more of a series of videos really, and after claiming his girlfriend had been the victim of a drunk driving accident, losing her life, he decided to set up a fake memorial for her. Within a few days, Jay had posted a series of videos and the timeline looked something along the lines of, my girlfriend was killed by a drunk driver, I'm going to contact my dead girlfriend's spirit, and then my girlfriend is alive, we thought it could boost my subscriber count to fake her death, and she broke up with me. It got messy, with Jay claiming his girlfriend was in on it and Alexia, Jay's ex-girlfriend, claiming she did help, but it went way further than it was supposed to the point that Jay allegedly told Alexia she couldn't say anything to her friends and family, and accused Jay of having her edit videos up to 10 hours a day without pay. So maybe it's a good thing they broke up. Now number 2, Onision. Now I don't want to be throwing around accusations here, but if you know about Onision, you probably know about all the past controversies he's been involved in and currently is involved in. If having girls send him pictures for him and his partner to rate isn't bad enough, there were the grooming accusations. A handful of girls have come forward claiming different types of abuse, from Onision filming a girl having seizures and shaving her head without their consent, to housing underage girls and sleeping with them when they're of legal age. Most recently, Chris Hansen, known for the Dateline NBC show To Catch a Predator, has been interviewing the girls and making a case against Onision, even showing up to his house. As of now, it seems Hansen is still doing his dirty work and giving updates on his personal channel regarding the situation with Onision. Now on to number 1, Austin Jones. Back in 2007, Jones rose to fame on YouTube thanks to his covers of popular songs. Over the years, he would grow quite a following with over 500,000 subscribers and tens of millions of views. But then in 2015, reports surfaced that Jones had reportedly lied to underage girls about his age, pretending to be a minor in hopes of getting videos from them. Jones would admit to his wrongdoing but claimed there was never any explicit content, which yeah, it's good, but I mean, it's still absolutely disgusting to do what he did. So why he was trying to justify his actions in the first place, well, that's beyond me. But as you may or may not know, it got much more serious in 2017 when Jones was arrested and eventually sentenced to 10 years in jail in 2019. There were 2 separate incidences, one in 2016 and one in 2017, where Jones received explicit content from minors. He allegedly directed them in what to do, and if thinking that is okay to do, I don't know if it's the fame going to your head or just being an absolute piece of trash, but either way, that ends the list. Alright, starting us off at number 10, the Dobie brothers. Well, as I'm sure you guys saw at the beginning of this video, at a meet and greet, they didn't do much of the greeting part. Of course, after that video would go viral, they would respond and try to defend their actions by saying they were pretty much overworked. The tweet read, I quote, "We just wanted to apologize. After a long 48 hours of restless filming and touring, then meeting thousands of fans with no sleep, we were exhausted by the end of our show. Our true apologies, we are sincerely sorry." I was gonna say sorry, but I know you guys like when I say sorry like that, so we are sincerely sorry. Look, I get it. There's sides of the industry that people don't see. It can be long days, tiring, stressful, but at the same time, it's literally what you've signed up for as, your job. You can't blame your workload for not showing appreciation to the people who allow you to do what you do on a daily basis and make a lot of money doing it. On to number 9, we got Roman Atwood. This man has been in the YouTube game since the beginning of time. Not actually, but he's been around for a very, very long time, and to no surprise, he's put out an absurd amount of content. As you can imagine, some of his content has been more controversial or questionable, especially compared to his family vlogs. Although it's possible to list other examples or reasons for him to be on this list, the one that stands out to me is faking his kid's death as a prank. He actually did it twice. Once, he pretended to blow his kid up, and another time he pranked his wife and the mother of his children by pretending their son fell over a railing in their house. Now, I'm all for a good prank, but when it comes to death, as we've seen in the past, it's never something to joke or even prank about. When it comes to your own children, just don't do that, man. Obviously, the videos would go viral, one in 2014 and one in 2015, but Roman would face his fair share of backlash for obvious reasons. Up next at number 8, we got Toy Freaks. Well, this guy is exactly that, a freak. You probably know his account got deleted back in 2017, and for good reason. Greg Chisholm, who ran the channel for his 2 daughters, faced a ton of backlash after he would post various videos showing his daughters appearing to either be in pain or incredibly upset. Some videos even showed them vomiting, although it was all believed to be simulated or part of an act. Regardless, as you can imagine, it's pretty sick and twisted type of content, and although they had around 8.5 million subscribers at the time of their channel's termination, not everyone liked the videos. I genuinely don't know how people enjoyed watching the videos, but as you can imagine, as their following grew, the fame would get to Greg's head, who would then need to top his last video. This led to them posting stuff to the point that local law enforcement did an investigation. There was no concrete evidence, and Greg was not charged. And let me be clear, I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything, but I will say the fact that he made that type of content with his kids in the first place is a problem in itself, at least in my opinion. Again, it was all simulated apparently, and the kids were never actually in danger, so I'm not accusing anybody of anything, simply just stating what has been said. On to number 7, Nikocado Avocado. Now, I'll be honest, this seems like an incredibly messy situation, but from what I got, Nick got his rise to fame by making mukbang videos, which a lot of people do. But then, much like Trisha Paytas, who inspired him in the first place, Nick started to make mukbang videos involving details about his personal life. As you can imagine, much like Trisha, Nick made it incredibly emotional with him crying a lot while eating. Clearly this trend worked, which led to Nick continuing to post thumbnails with him crying, and titles such as "My Life is Falling Apart." The videos would just get messier and messier with tears, snot, and burger grease everywhere. Of course, then in late 2019, there were the accusations made against Nick by other YouTubers fearing for their safety, saying he was aggressive. This led to a feud which eventually led to Nick making videos claiming his husband was going to leave him and leading viewers genuinely concerned for the guy. But it seems like Nick was, and still is, doing it for the views and subscribers because he's still posting all his videos in similar fashion. So, you know, clickbait. At number 6, we got Laura Lee. Of course, I'm talking about the apology. After racist tweets would surface, Laura would post a 5-minute video ugly crying and apologizing for her actions. But it didn't seem all that genuine, and if anything, Laura kind of played the victim. She would delete the video and then post another video apologizing for her apology video. See, even she knew she was full of it. Clearly, she had gotten to the point that her brand of Laura Lee distorted her reality of what it's like to genuinely take accountability for your actions. Shortly after, she would tweet, I quote, "I owe you guys a sincere apology. In that video, I come off more as a victim. I am not a victim in any way, form, or fashion in this situation. I'm taking the video down because it doesn't represent me well. I am not taking the video down to try to hide it from you guys or pretend like it didn't happen. In the video, you guys received more of a reaction to the situation than you did a response. And that is my reasoning for taking it down," end quote. In her second attempt at forgiveness, although it seemed more genuine, the masses still didn't really buy it. At number 5 now, we got the LeBrants. I feel like it could be like the LeBrons. No, I feel like it's the LeBrants. Now, family channels always do big numbers, as we can clearly see with both the Ace and LeBrant family. But as you can imagine, these families aren't necessarily as wholesome as they always seem. YouTube is still a business, and in their case, a lucrative one where you could set up your child's future quite nicely simply by vlogging with them. However, it seems the fame and fortune got the best of the LeBrants when they pretty much clickbaited that they had to evacuate their home due to the California wildfires. I mean, yeah, maybe just don't do that. Posted a video titled, I quote, "We left our house because of fires in California." Cole claimed that his wife texted him saying they had to evacuate. The vlog showed the smoke from the fire, which Cole said was about 4 miles away, shortly after explaining they got an evacuation notice. But it turns out this wasn't the case. Neighbors of the family spoke with Fox News saying, "I just think it's really sad they would exploit a situation that's as serious as a fire that so many people were evacuated just so they could get more likes or more hits on their channel," end quote. Turns out their area wasn't affected by the fires at all, and they were much further than 4 miles away. It's also important to mention their original thumbnail got backlash, and many think this was a planned trip because the family did go to San Francisco during their evacuation. Now on to number 4, we got Danielle Kahn. I mean, I wanted to give her a break because she's so young, so I want to believe if I had such a large audience at such a young age, it would get to me too. That being said, I don't think I would do half the things Danielle has done and probably will do. Aside from posting thumbnails and videos that are extremely provocative, especially for someone as young as her, she's also lied about her age and faked a pregnancy. Anything for those views, eh? It's crazy. But again, it's hard to hate on her or even call her out because she's young. Like, at 15 years old, I wasn't even a human. I was just like a thing with arms and legs, and I could talk. And then over the years, I turned into whatever you call me now. But at 15, I probably wouldn't have faked a pregnancy for views, or a lot of my age, but still. At number 3, Adam Stella. In 2016, Adam posted a video claiming he was kicked off of a Delta Airlines flight simply for speaking Arabic. Obviously, this is incredibly problematic, led to Delta facing a ton of backlash, and Adam receiving a ton of support. But we can't forget who Adam is, a YouTuber who is known for pranks, among other types of content. Delta released a statement claiming that Adam and his friend had, I quote, "sought to disrupt the cabin with provocative behavior, including shouting," end quote. Either way, as you can imagine, this situation led many people skeptical over who to believe. In the past, Adam has posted videos where he would reveal them as fake, only after being exposed by someone else. He also had posted videos in the past, such as Racial Profiling Experiment, where an NYPD officer appears to do exactly that, only for it later to be revealed as a dramatization. Again, this happened after he was exposed for it being fake. Although he stood by his claims, it seems everyone forgot about this one and just moved on. But I mean, come on, dude. Don't milk incredibly serious topics for views. Like, it's wrong on so many levels. Like, people fight for these rights daily, and I can go on. I'm not going to, but just don't do that. Don't take advantage of serious topics for views, guys. Moving on to number 2, Jessie Taylor. Duh. Well, this is the girl that had the meltdown after realizing she may have to get a real job. The video titled "Stop Reporting My Instagram" would go viral, and Jessie really didn't do herself any favors. In the video, where she is quite literally bawling her eyes out, Jessie explains she came from a less fortunate family and had to work very hard to get where she was at. It seems Instagram accidentally deleted her account, which led to her making the video. She compared losing her account to murder and even tried to get the police involved, although they most likely laughed with the rest of us. Of course, Jessie also has a bit of a racist past, so maybe this wasn't so accidental, and it was just a group of people making sure karma goes around. Who knows? Either way, she got the account back, but who knows how long that will last. In at number 1, Extreme Games. Well, these guys faked having a deadly illness for views. Simple as that. Then they got exposed by Leon Lush, so they took down the entire series. Although at first they tried to play the victim and call out Leon for not showing any sympathy, they eventually backed down. The brothers Thomas and Jonathan Smith claimed they were dying due to a terminal illness and only had weeks to live. Apparently, Jonathan had a lethal kidney disease and he couldn't eat or move, and his body was shutting down on him. His younger brother Thomas said he was dying of vertigo. And the definition of vertigo is a sensation of whirling and loss of balance. You can't die from vertigo. The best part, however, is that they were actually giving away 2 iPhone X's. It was almost like they wanted to do one last kind gesture for their fans, and to give them a chance to win iPhones while they explain that they're dying seemed to be the most logical. They also reminded fans to subscribe, but why would that matter assuming these guys wouldn't be posting content much longer? I just think it's gross they fake this stuff for views. So I just have fun, I guess, calling them out on how dumb of a situation it was.